suicidal are not getting the correct care. Pentagon healthcare providers failed to perform critical follow-up for many troops diagnosed with depression and post-traumatic stress syndrome who also are at high risk for suicide. Just 30% of troops with depression and 54% with PTSD received appropriate care as they were deemed at risk of harming themselves. 30% with depression and 54% with PTSD. So 70% of the vets who were like suffering from severe depression and might harm themselves didn't get care? Are we shocked why 22 vets a day kill themselves? This is so disgusting. Bush didn't give a shit about vets. Obama didn't. Trump doesn't. It sickens me. It sickens me. If I ran, I would run as a progressive. Here's what I would run on. A Green New Deal, wind turbines, solar panels. America is going to lead the world in green technology and stopping climate change with innovation. We're going to put every American to work doing this. We're going to build high-speed rail. We're going to build everything. Wind turbines, solar panels, whatever, electric cars and infrastructure of that. We're going to do that. And we're going to take care of vets. We are going to take care of vets. We're going to cut our military budget in half. Wait a minute, Graham, how are you going to take care of vets if you were to do that? Because we're not going to be spending all this money on crazy, endless wars like the one in Yemen or Syria or Afghanistan or Iraq and on down the line. We're going to bring them home. And we're going to take some of that money and we're going to spend it on taking care of vets. That's what we're going to do. Instead of this endless state of war. And then this is how it's, war, the military. Kyle Kaepernick takes a knee, right? And everyone's all mad. He's spitting in the face of the military. Do you know about this? Beer guzzling 49er fan that set his jersey on fire. Did you know that this is happening? Did you know this happened under Obama, is happening under Trump, happened under Bush? Do you know that the vets that are putting their lives on the line and coming back with some scars that never go away, that never heal? Do you have any idea what PTSD is? It's not a video game. This is deplorable to me. This report, commissioned by the Pentagon, looked at the cases of 39,000 troops who had been diagnosed in 2013 with depression, PTSD, or both conditions. USA Today, I'm using USA Today, that's the link, but it's from the RAND Corporation, so they received an advance copy of the report. We want to ensure that they get connected with behavioral health care, said Kimberly Hepner, the report's lead author and senior behavioral scientist at RAND, a nonpartisan, nonprofit research organization. The most immediate action, removal of firearms, can help to reduce the risk of suicide attempts. Of course. They learn how to fire a weapon over there if they didn't grow up firing one already, and then they got easy access to gun. I've had some dark days. I've had some dark days recently, man. If I had a gun, boom. This show would be over. But of course, that would go against our good friends at the NRA. So pro-gun supporters, just so you know, you're helping people, primarily vets. You're making it easier for them to kill themselves. Since if you don't want any gun regulation, just this is what you're doing. You're helping vets, people who put their lives on their line for this country. You're making it easier for them to kill themselves. So I hope you're good with that. So nothing. I know you didn't give a shit about Sandy Hook, so obviously why would you care about this? From 2001 to 2014, about 2.6 million troops have deployed to combat zones in Afghanistan and Iraq. Estimates on how many have been affected by post-traumatic stress vary widely, from 4 to 20%. According to the report, meanwhile, suicide among troops spiked crisis proportions. The rate of suicide doubled between 2005 and 2012, according to the Pentagon. It has stabilized, but has not diminished. It's stabilized because we don't have 200,000 people. We don't have 30, 40,000 people in Afghanistan and another 150,000 people in Iraq. But those 2.6 million people that have come back, and some are still being deployed. We just deployed more people in Yemen. The rate remains about the same for the part of American public that it compares with, about 20 per 100,000 people. The key intervention to prevent suicide involves talking to the service member about their access to firearms. Hepner said, it's also one of the most sensitive given the nature of their work, and many troops own their own guns. This is important for service members because suicide death by firearms is the most common method, Hepner said. I remember when I was over there and they would be releasing, the killed in action reports almost every day. And some of them would be non-combat related death. That usually meant suicide. So the provider needs to have the discussion about access to firearms, not only their service weapon, but their access to personal weapons. Guns accounted for 68% of suicides by active duty troops in 2014, according to the Pentagon. The other thing they found in this report is that a third of the troops diagnosed with depression received a prescription for benzodiazepine, an anti-anxiety medication. It is explicitly mentioned in guidelines for treatment of PTSD that benzodiazepine, I know I'm mispronouncing that, are contraindicated. Hartmer said, we continue to see a relatively high rate of prescription for medication we would hope not be prescribed. Those troops need psychotherapy, not benzodiazepine, she said. The drugs can interfere with appropriate treatment, be habit-forming, and can interact badly with alcohol. So they're giving them the wrong medication. You serve overseas, you go through some stuff, you're having a tough time when you rotate back. You go to the VA, as well you should. Free healthcare is one of the things you should enjoy. And you're getting misdiagnosed and misprescribed? So this is disconcerting to me, and it's something that we should be discussing, and shared this video. And one of the things I've always said this, if you know somebody that was over there, or you yourself went over there and you think you're suffering from PTSD or depression, go get help. Go to the VA. Find some other organizations. Go to the IAVA, the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Go to the Disabled American Veterans. Reach out and get help. I can tell you I've gone through some tough stuff, and reaching out and getting help is what you do. That is actually the strongest thing you can do. That's why it's called the courage to change. Sitting there and doing nothing and isolating is a recipe for disaster. So go ask help. It is the strongest thing you can do, and do that for yourself or your loved one if they're going through something tough. Be there for them. You might actually save a life. And get them to watch comedy. They've done studies that when people are laughing, a negative thought cannot occupy the same space when you're laughing. It can't. I've dealt with this. I've had tough things. I'm in my hotel room on the road, like, oh, I don't want to go through this, whatever. I went through divorce, and then I got to go, I don't want to go on stage. And I go on stage and I make a room full of people laugh, and I felt better. So get them to watch something funny, and get them to go to the VA or someone to get help. Thanks for watching the show.